This is Humble Beginnings. Humble Beginnings is a level made only with 1.0 objects and features, but it is still hard enough to be an insane demon. The level recently got its first victor, making this the hardest level I've made to be beaten. The level was also sent by Ivy Teal, making this the first level I've created to get sent. So I'm making this video to hopefully get some of you as interested in the level as I am, and to draw more attention to it, possibly even getting it rated. So, what else to do but dive right in. Back in August, the creator ScullyHop hosted a creator contest, a 1.0 level creator contest. His video announcing the contest showed up on my recommended page. I thought it looked pretty cool, so I clicked. As he was describing the contest, I had so many ideas rushing through my head. Here were some of my goals when making this level. 1. The level should be very simple and minimalistic, and rely almost entirely on charm. 2. The level should tell a story, kind of, or at least have some noticeable progression. 3. I would keep it fully within the 1.0 restrictions. A lot of 1.0 levels I would see would always break at least one limitation of the update, like going above the object limit, using layering, or even using a song that wasn't in the update. ScullyHop's creator contest also allowed free rotation of the objects, but that didn't feel real to me. I wanted to make an authentic 1.0 level, including using a song from the update, not using rotation or layering, and not going above the 4,000 object limit. Well, that objects count thing didn't end up working, did it? But I mean, I don't think it really matters a whole lot, because it's a 2.2 level, and you still have the authentic experience, and that was what I was going for anyway. Go ahead and argue in the comments if you want. So, enough of that. I ended up choosing good ol' Stereo Madness as the song. Here's the progression I ended up doing. I'll go through the parts in order, starting with Hills. I'm a really timing and memory carried player, so I made some pretty awkward timings and threw in some random memory in this section. It sounds like a bad idea on paper, but after a while, it got pretty fun for me. I love this little segment where you jump over the spike and fall into this gravity portal. It syncs really well with the music. I also enabled the ghost trail in that transition. You'll see that a lot with the transitions in this level. I also love this little maze of jumping on clouds and trees. This part was meant to be confusing, and it definitely succeeded. There's a specific orb click at 19%, which kills a lot of players, as you can see on the level's leaderboard. And I think now is a good time to talk about my inspirations for this level. There were two levels that majorly inspired this one, SJ Hell by SJ and Flight by GMD Craft. I'll talk about the former first. SJ Hell was a 1.0 level by the 1.0 creator, SJ. SJ was like the funny game of 1.0. Like, just look at this. Look at these buildings, these cars, and most impressively of all, this dragon. It's really too bad that his levels were never rated. Now, the second level is Flight by GMD Craft. This level wasn't made in 1.0, but in 1.9. At the time this level was released, it was a masterpiece. Look at these trees, this rainbow, these stars and aurorae, and pretty much everything in this level. It's too bad this level took 10 years to get rated and never got the attention it deserved. Anyway, you can kind of see the inspirations from those levels quite a lot in this part. You can see these trees and clouds inspired by Flight, and this hill structuring and these houses inspired by SJ Hell. A small detail that I really like are these little pits of spikes here. You only get to see one of them if you're playing the level correctly, but I think that's really cool because it gives more incentive to play the level for yourself and explore. I purposely designed these little spike holes under this super exhilarating image that they were hellish viruses that infected the nearby terrain. I also like this part where you have to time your jump to fall right into... Wait. That's the start of the next part. After you fall down that little rabbit hole, you're now in the caves. How spooky. I love how claustrophobic this part feels. You can see how well the blocks look like rocks. I was also a nerd in my science class in the 4th grade during our caves unit, so I added stalactites and stalagmites to the ceiling and floor. I liked being able to make these cool ship timings where you need to hit the ceiling to get momentum downwards, and otherwise you die. I also like how this part feels like there is even more to explore than the hills part. I purposely made it so that there were multiple paths to pick from, but only one of them was correct. The others would lead to a dead end. I was mainly inspired for that little element by Minecraft by Dreamer00. There's a cave part in that level too, and it's also pick-a-pathy. The exploration element in that level was really cool in my opinion, so I tried incorporating that here too. Then there's this straight fly a ship control segment. Would you believe me if I told you that the current form of this segment was mega nerfed from the original? Yeah, there used to be many more full spikes. I don't remember the exact way it looked, but it looked something like this before. I ended up nerfing it to this while I was verifying it. You then exit the cave, hop into this gravity portal, and fly into... This part is by far the easiest part once you learn it. The only really difficult timing in this part is this blind triple spike right here. I love the gameplay in this part. It was mostly inspired by Marathon by WioWioTio, a level that innovates with mixing memory and timing gameplay in arguably the best and most satisfying way possible. Here's my favorite click in this whole part. I designed this part with slabs, clouds, and floating islands. The clouds were inspired by Flight again, and the floating islands were actually inspired by the part near the end of The Old Trail by Bram for Real. Welp, other than that, this part is pretty short, so... By coincidence, this part is also the hardest, right after the easiest. And you know what, while we're on the topic of balancing, for those curious, here's what I would say is the balancing in this level. So yeah, this part is definitely the hardest, but again, after you learn it, it's not too terrible. I used these corner blocks and placed them around since they kind of look like stars. These corner blocks are purposely placed in misleading ways, so if you plan on going for this level, I recommend practicing this part with hitboxes on. The specific click at 69% kills a lot of people because you have to jump between two semi-invisible hitboxes. I kept this in because I thought it was funny to kill people at that percent. Then there's this gameplay with gravity portals with orbs inside them, a gameplay type I call the portal pack. I used this a lot in some of my older levels, but I never really pulled it off well. I do kind of like the portal packs in this level though. At the end, you go up these stairs, do a few orb clicks, and boom! Next section. This thanks for playing sign was inspired by a video Temp made a few years ago, where he made an extreme demon layout using only 1.2 features. The ending has a similar thanks for playing sign, as you can see on the screen right now. Anyway, not much to say here. I love the transition into this part, because you go from space to the sky with the clouds, through the spike gap that you so satisfyingly always fit through, and back down to the ground. I called back to the hills section in this part, as you can see by the trees and this house. At the end of this ship, you go up into this cube portal and jump on the side of this tree to land safely on the ground. And then, if you land on the ground, you just beat Humble Beginnings. GG! If you want to watch the full showcase of the level, it's on the screen right now. This video is now over. Bye bye!